So one of the great things about not being on the internet these days is I don't easily get influenced to read books based off of just the hype. So why then did I read this book that's apparently got all the hype in the world? Well, I didn't exactly know that it did until I finished it. I'd been reading a lot of old stuff and I wanted to read something new. So I go to my Goodreads, I click on this article, and I'm looking for something that preferably came out this year. And there it was, Yellowface. I thought to myself, it's got a nice premise, it's pretty short. The author has a familiar sounding name. I've heard about her a lot from books like The Poppy War and Babel, even though I've not read any of those books. And I thought, you know what, why not give it a shot? So, what's it about? Yellowface. This one is pretty new, so I'm going to try my best to do my non spoilery version of this. And essentially, someone steals someone's book and publishes it as their own. There you go, summary done. Over. Bye. That's what the book is about. And essentially, I think that's all you need to know before you jump into this one. Any more than that, and I think I'd be ruining or spoiling the book for you. It does make me think of a book I read recently, Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov. It's pretty much got the same premise. Well, not entirely the same, but they start off with the same premise. In that book, Pale Fire, a manuscript is stolen as well and published by the person who stole the manuscript. But the difference is, while I think you'd go to Pale Fire for the literary value and depth, this you probably would go into just because you want to have fun reading something. And I did. I had fun reading this one. What exactly did I like about it? I like the pacing a lot. It reads like a thriller, and having come off reading so many slower paced books, I thought this was like a breath of fresh air. I think something else I really enjoyed was it had an unlikable character that I actually was rooting for. I think you're doing something really well when you write a character that has really ethical bad traits and not supposed to be likable, but somehow the reader is still finding themselves rooting for them a little bit because they feel human, and that's something that I didn't get from a book that I read recently. I wonder what book that is. Yeah, while the writing is not the best thing I would say I've read, I mean, it's not close. I would say is what you about expect from books like this that are meant to be popular fiction and easy reads. It's exactly that. It's an easy read. It's fun, it's fast paced, you're going to enjoy the story, but you're not going to come across any quotes that you want to keep or jot down or like see any sentence that you want to read and reread just because of how beautifully it's structured or anything. I think that's not what this book tries to do, and yeah, it doesn't do more than what it's supposed to do. I think, although I say the book is fun, I think it did really try to explore some deep themes. There's a theme of sort of like the complexities of authorship. Like, how much do I need to add to a text before I can claim ownership of the text? Is there a percentage? Do I need to change 99% or 98 or 97? Is there a number? You know? There's also the question of who is allowed to tell what stories. Are white people allowed to tell black stories? If not, why not? Especially if the writer does their due diligence. Reading the book, I didn't come away with any answers, and I'm glad I didn't, because that would mean that the book is preachy. So I love how the book just asks the question and leaves you, the reader, to do the thinking and come up with answers or thoughts of your own about these issues. It also tries to explore relationship struggles, goes into the relationship dynamics between friends, because sometimes between friends, I think there's this unspoken envy and jealousy that often exists, especially when one friend is doing way better than the other. Sometimes it's not so toxic, and sometimes it can be motivating to the other friend, but other times it's toxic. There's also a lot of critique on the current society that we live in, the virtue signaling, identity politics, selective outrage and all that internet stuff, It does go into that a bit, well, more than a bit, because that's a lot of what the themes in the book are centered around. I would say that it doesn't go into them as deeply as you would find in some other books, but in a book that I think is meant to be popular and an easy read, I think it does pretty well. So what didn't I like about the book? Not much, to be honest. I didn't like the ending though. It just, for some reason, it didn't land for me. I was rolling my eyes and cringing at certain scenes I just thought could have been done better. But all in all, I don't think I have too much to complain about with this book, especially with knowing what kind of book I was reading before going into it. I mean, I feel like if you go to the theater to see Mission Impossible or some blockbuster, you don't come out being disappointed because it wasn't like Memento or something, you know? So, yeah, in that way, I enjoyed the book. I think I got what I was expecting to get. And yeah, that's it from the video. Yellowface, I liked it. Catch you in the next one. Bye.